The NBA has a lot of issues at hand, and I would like to at least talk about it. Let's just face it, despite with All-Star Weekend happening recently and apparently of how good the game was, there's a lot of other things that really need to be talked about other than that, okay? So let's talk about it. I think the first thing that everybody thinks about when it comes down to All-Star Weekend is, of course, the All-Star Game. A lot of people have said over the past couple of years that the All-Star Game is just not ever competitive for many years now. I pretty much agree. If anything, I was probably one of the other couple people who was like, All-Star Weekend is this weekend? Like... Like, ooh, let's just be honest here, man. The All-Star Weekend, that's at least an indicator to me that the NBA is getting closer and closer to the playoffs. Thank God. I think this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, at least from me, but I cannot focus and take this NBA regular season seriously at all, which is why I kind of don't really watch any sort of games until after at least the football season is over. But even then, sometimes I just kind of just still look at highlights. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like, let me ask this question. How many of you guys take the NBA regular season seriously, to the point where you try to watch every single game of your team? Because sometimes, man, whenever it comes down to the injuries, the load management, and just the overall feeling of an NBA game, it just lacks in every single area, I feel like. At least the All-Star Weekend at least tells us, like, hey, playoffs are coming soon. But yeah, I just feel like for me personally, man, it's just such in a weird spot. Now, this person says, just cancel All-Star Weekend because the dunk contest was apparently just an absolute joke. When you look at these comments, the fact that there's 5,400 replies under here, and you keep seeing how this was the worst dunk contest I've ever seen. The dunk contest used to be something I looked forward to. We really peaked in 2016. We really did. 10 years ago, huh? We really peaked with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine in 2016. That's crazy, man. The dunk contest is an absolute joke. Every other thing is riddled with content creators, which is, in my opinion, another joke. The All-Star Game's in 10 minutes and this place is empty. Yeah, doesn't look great. This doesn't look great again, but then again, it is 10 minutes away, but $1,000 to get in is crazy for an All-Star Game. The All-Star Game, though, I saw some highlights. It looked actually very nice. I'm not gonna lie. It looked interesting. As Nano Currency says, they fixed the All-Star Game. Mission accomplished. Credit where it's due. It was so good, in fact, for the All-Star Game that the All-Star Game showed its best numbers in 15 years. Can you believe that? 15 years. So in 2011, this is the best All-Star Game ratings in 15 years. So despite all the controversy and the empty arena crowd and etc. of the All-Star Weekend, 8.8 million views across NBC and Peacock and Telemundo. So there you go, 8.8 million viewers. At least the NBA got something right during All-Star Weekend, which was this Team USA versus Team World. All right, that's at least a positive, but we have to talk about still issues regarding the NBA. So let's switch sides to Adam Silver as the commissioner of the NBA. There was this tweet that got out here. According here to the Greatest of All Time podcast, and Ben Gulliver, who is a co-host of the pod, angry gambling companies reportedly played a part in Adam Silver punishing teams for tanking. Over-unders are at stake. You know, players' props are at stake. If coaches are just willy-nilly not playing guys the entire game and they're not letting people know in advance that they plan to do that, you're going to have a lot of angry gamblers and a lot of angry gambling companies as well. That's not good. Which is why it's like so bad. Here's just another quote from the same pod. We know how much the NBA has gotten in bed with gambling. Here's the thing, right? As somebody who bets on the NFL, at least, there is a chance that your bet is not going to go through. That is obviously the whole point of gambling. Trying to win some money? Well, you got to gamble this amount of money to, you know, potentially win. If you win, you win. And if you lose, you lose. That is pretty much the game of gambling. I don't think that's anything new, at least I hope not. But here's the thing, I really do personally think that someone, before sports gambling got legalized and whatnot, I really do wish that there was some sort of like regulations when it comes down to betting on sports and etc., because it has definitely gotten, and this is not just the NBA, it has gotten really well out of hand. All it does is just, it's gonna make the people money, aka the league. It's just gonna make the league make more money. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're just going to follow the money no matter what. So the whole gambling thing again, Giannis made a rumor that he would leave the Bucks, causing people to bet a total of $23 million as to where he would go on Kalshi, an unrelated gambling insider trading platform. Then it comes out after the trade deadline passes. He stays in Milwaukee and comes out today as a Kalshi stakeholder. Are you serious? Isn't this, as a lot of people are saying in the replies, isn't this just a conflict of interests right here? Why is he an NBA player on Kalshi? Why? Obviously, a lot of people are really like, what the hell? Concept of an NBA player owning a gambling company partnered with Kalshi when your likelihood to get traded can be bet on there is wild. This is really not a great look on the NBA. Not a great look on Giannis. This is not a great look at all, man. Why is he on Kalshi? There has to be rules to this. There has to be rules. I don't know why there wouldn't be, but there just has to be rules overall, okay? There just has to be. Let's go on to now the other issue regarding the NBA today. Tanking. The NBA has fined the Utah Jazz $500,000 and the Indiana Pacers $100,000 related to the management of their rosters for recent games. I wonder why. Because both those teams are just the worst teams in the NBA right now. It's so bad. The tanking thing is also just another reason, which is why I can't take the NBA regular season seriously, to the point where Adam Silver says he would consider ending the draft and making rookies free agents if that's what it took to stop tanking. This guy is crazy, dude. Adam Silver has ruined the NBA. Teams are openly tanking. Regular season is unwatchable. Players don't even care about the regular season. All-Star Weekend used to be a spectacle, and now it's a joke. 10 years ago, the league had real juice. Now it's been surpassed by college football and Major League Baseball and sits fourth as a league in American sports behind the NFL, college football, and MLB. Mark Cuban actually said on Twitter, he said, why the NBA should actually embrace the tanking. The thing is, though, you also just cannot stop tanking. I don't think that is something that you can stop. But there's gotta be something you can do to, like, at least lessen it, or at least don't make it too obvious, you know? What fan that cares about their team's record one is hope. Hope that they will get better and have a chance to compete for the playoffs and then maybe a ring. But one way is to get closer to that is the draft and trades and cap room. You have a better chance of improving via all three when you tank. All right, you know, okay. But he then says here, the NBA should be more worried about the fans' experience than tanking. It should worry more about pricing fans out of games than tanking, which is true because the NBA tickets are really expensive. So I can kind of see it, but still, tanking is still a very big issue on here. Oh, why don't you look at that? Speaking of the tanking stuff, Commissioner Adam Silver informed the league's 30 general managers on Thursday that the NBA plans to make anti-tanking rules changes for next season, sources tell ESPN. Stakeholders have intensified dialogue about combating tanking. I was in the middle of editing this video and look what just shows up. Tanking problem, load management problem, sponsors on jerseys, sponsors on the court, no defense being played, bad officiating, partnering with the gambling companies, All-Star Weekend becoming unwatchable, NBA Cup and play-in tournaments. The NBA isn't what it used to be. And if I'm being honest here, and I will say this, this is probably going to be a big hot take on the NBA as a whole. The NBA Cup, I think, is probably just one of the most unnecessary things I have seen in ever. Is that a hot take? I think people are not going to be happy when I say that. But the NBA Cup is literally like, okay, trying to make it more exciting in the regular season, especially at the beginning of the season. Isn't the whole point of the players, and isn't their whole dream when they're playing in the NBA, win a championship in the NBA Finals? Not the NBA Cup. It's supposed to be for the NBA Finals. Yet for some reason, we have special courts for the NBA Cup, yet we don't have a special court for the NBA Finals? How come we don't have the title in the middle of the court still? Like, I think it's ridiculous. Maybe the players can disagree, and honestly, you just, I guess, look at it from a different perspective, but I just think the NBA Cup is just so unnecessary, dude. Just play the damn games. Just play it. And it could be a whole thing of just, you know, trying to gauge interest for the start of the regular season. Bro, it's the start of the regular season. The regular season for the NBA doesn't really start until March. It really doesn't. Or if anything, the bare minimum until after the All-Star break. Just my opinion, though. Just my opinion. This could be a hot take, I understand. And just literally to top it all off here, with all the tanking problem, the gambling issues of the NBA, and then All-Star Weekend being a huge issue other than the game, is the fact that Kevin Durant got caught talking trash about current and former teammates on a burner account on Twitter. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's just so crazy how this account, which is apparently him, and all you got all these people taking screenshots and taking videos about what this man has tweeted. Man, what a crazy couple of days the NBA has gotten through. A lot of interesting press, mostly not great, but also good, because the NBA All-Star Game specifically, if anything, is probably the only good thing that the NBA has had, at least in good press, over the past couple of weeks. I personally think American football is the best sport, and basketball is definitely up there as well. It's just that, like, with the NBA, I just cannot care too much about the regular season if people just do not care. There's a whole thing about the injuries being posted, blah 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 blah. You know, you're not able to see your favorite player due to potentially injury management or just anything, and then you're like, well, what the hell am I here for? It just NBA has a lot of things that they need to fix, man. Yeah, they got a lot of things to fix over there. I don't know how they're gonna fix it, but yeah, I just think it's so crazy that people are just putting together all these like KD tweets and whatnot. KD files, bruh. There you go. Here's another interesting thing that was just released today. After rejuvenating the NBA All-Star Game with the USA versus World format, the league and NBC Sports are eyeing how they can improve it. Among the ideas, adding a fourth event such as a new 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 competition. That is a good thing, but we will just have to see if they actually enact it. So, well, that is it for me. Do you guys agree with what I've said about the NBA? I feel like I've been very critical about the NBA, but I don't know. I just think for me personally, there are just a lot of things that just unfortunately kind of drive my interest away from the NBA, at least for the regular season. I will obviously watch the playoffs, but for the regular season, there's just so much going on, and there's just so much like weirdness to it, to the point where I just don't really care about it. And I just hope that people understand my perspective from it. Do you guys agree with what I said? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. If you guys liked my rant, I hope you guys did. But yeah, see you guys.